Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. I'm joined by the Shark, Sean Finnegan.
Jump, 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 jump.
This is EVE Valkyrie, Sean, a game that you and I just played at, what is a very far along version of both software-wise and hardware-wise. This was my first time on the final, more or less final Oculus VR hardware.
Yeah, this is the retail consumer version that we were playing on at this event.
They were like engineering prototype, final sample things that they were labeled. But yeah, the final finish feels good.
Yeah, so if you've tried DK1 or even DK2, you may have noticed some weight issues or some imbalance issues and some performance issues with the tech. All of that stuff has been taken care of, and actually playing with it was, by and large, a very pleasant experience.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here, this is a bit of a strange recording. Let me explain what we're actually watching. So, of course, this is EVE Valkyrie, 5-on-5 space shooter. I'll tell you more about the gameplay details in a second, but the way it's recorded, because, a traditional recording of a VR game would look like almost two binocular goggles, one per eye. So this is actually like a 2D recording off of a separate spectator computer that was networked in with the other 10, the 5-on-5 players. And what it's doing is it's a spectator thing that's cycling through all 10 players, a little bit on one person, then you'll see it fade to black, and then it's the next person. So you're just getting like a complete smattering of everybody's perspectives here.
Right, which again is a little weird and also kind of good because all the players are using different ships, so you get a little bit of a taste of every different thing that you have available and the different weapons and stuff. But to be clear, only sometimes are you seeing either Ryan or I playing.
That's true. I think I was Jarus or Janice, whatever. You were the guy at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing this.
But
it's been a very, very long time since I've played a very good space shooter, and it took me a little bit of time to get used to, but once you're in the VR space and you get a sense for how you're supposed to use your own sort of like viewpoint to kind of make your ship do the things that it wants, it becomes really fun and awesome.
Yeah, so we just cycled to another player here. One other quick housekeeping note to clarify on this footage. You're seeing a lot of screen tearing on here, which is that like weird line in the middle where it doesn't match up. To clarify, that absolutely did not happen in our session. It's just some strange artifact or byproduct of the way this was recorded. The game was totally smooth. In fact, it ran at a higher frame rate than this.
Yeah, so I think you know the details a little bit better than I do, but roughly for these things, the machinery has to render about 90 frames.
90 frames per eye. So you need a lot of horsepower. We were playing on some beefy rigs.
Yeah, they were certainly beefy, but when you step into the space and you're playing, you feel that beefiness. It's very smooth. The frame rate was really good. The texturing and stuff is all really cool. Look at the scope of this, right? You're in space, you're flying around in all manner of directions, looking at ships, meteorites, planets, all kinds of debris, and at not one point did I experience any sort of frame hiccups or anything like that.
No, not once.
Yeah.
Now, the way you're seeing, so this is obviously first-person view from the pilot's eyes in each person's ship, and the reason why you're seeing so much movement, so that's right here. Now this person's not actually doing it very much, whoever the heck this is. Fido is that? Well, let's wait until we scroll. Here we go, we got the next person. Let's see if this guy, because I know you and I were doing it really well, but what I'm trying to get at is, this person's just using their gamepad like traditional, but what we want to see is, you'll see the camera on this footage is tracking the headset. So wherever you look, wherever you turn your head and look, is where the camera goes, and and that's actually how you guide your locked-on missiles.
Exactly. So you'll notice that
this guy's not doing it either. Let's try the next person here.
You'll notice
there we go. This person's looking around, so they're looking to their left. They're looking to their left again. They're trying to find. Yeah, this might be you or I here.
I'm actually in this one. I'm Jaros.
Okay, you're Jara. All right.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that one. But
Torda. I think this is me, actually.
This might be you,
I think this is me.
So, like Ryan pointed out, the ship itself has a reticle, which you can use to fire your right trigger.
Yeah,
which is
chain
just
gun.
A chain gun.
Depending
or
which plane you have.
Yeah, depending
which
on
ship
which
you
ship
have.
you're using. You can see the reticle right there, but how you lock on with missiles, you actually turn your head and look at the ships that you're trying to shoot at.
You still lock on. You hold the left trigger.
Oh yeah, but
and you'll see the missiles all lock on, and then to actually guide them to the target, you need to just keep them in your field of view.
Yeah, like that little reticle locking on right now with the like 3 dots, 4 dots.
Locking on, let it go, and then you gotta look, you gotta look, you gotta look, and that should boom connects. Yeah, so that's how that works.
It's actually really cool for it to work this way, and it feels very natural once you get used to it, because like a ship would fly by you, like this guy just did, and instead of trying to turn the ship around,
turn your head.
You just turn your head
as
if he
behind
flew by you, the
awesome.
way you drive a car. And once you get used to that, it becomes way easier to track enemies in 3D space, because that's what's crazy about this is, because you're flying around in space, you're not just going side to side or up and down, you're going backwards and forwards. You can go any manner of directions, and it's really easy to get turned around. But similarly, it's really easy to turn your enemy around when he's trying to chase you down.
That's true.
You can go up, around, and behind things really easily, and then suddenly they're gone.
So as to the game itself, EVE Valkyrie, we've been seeing this game for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
You know, it's been really cool to see it evolve, both on the software side and on the Oculus side. I mean, it's really been an interesting progression to watch it sort of evolve in lockstep with the hardware. So the final game here that we're going to be getting with the Oculus is it is, you know, a fairly simplistic space shooter with a few different game modes. There are single-player sort of scenarios, but there's not a traditional single-player campaign. And the 3 primary ships, there's the fighter class ship, which is just the all-around, and I believe that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, this is one of them.
So the fighter, it's got the Gatling gun on the right trigger, the locking missiles. Yeah, so this is a fighter here that we're seeing. And then the heavy, which maybe we'll see cycle in at some point. I tried it a couple times, didn't have a lot of luck with the heavy, but it has it's slower, it's more heavily armored. It has a head-tracked shotgun type, like a shorter range but big spread.
Does a lot of damage.
Tons of damage, and then a micro warp drive to help you accelerate that slow ship in short bursts. And then finally, there's the support class, which, as you'd expect, is the very light, very quick ship, not a lot of armor, and it has a multi-purpose beam that can heal your teammates. If you fire it at your teammates, it'll heal their shields, and if you fire it at your enemies, it will drain their shields. So that's...
Sorry to interrupt, but that was also a really good example of how that head tracking really benefits you when someone's trying to get away from you. That guy did a really good job, like keeping his eye on him. And then look at this, like you're flying all the way up, and you got to keep your eye on him and keep him in your vision.
Frozen corpse in space. Put your space sickle. And then you should also mention that you can press X every now and again. It's on a cooldown, but the X button will fire off some anti missile, flare thingies.
Whatever they are. Yeah.
Well, so much for that guy.
Yeah, he didn't do much.
No, that wasn't me. Harak. I don't know who that was.
I had a lot of the fighter class that I was using was called Dominator.
Yeah.
And that was I had very good sort of like experiences with that because it's fast enough, and this locking on missiles mechanism is really good, and it's on a really nice cooldown. You can use it a lot.
It's
good damage.
And it's worth noting too. You mentioned the Dominator. There is a skill tree within each ship class, so you can upgrade the sort of both the internal cockpit look and the external look of your ship. So you can get two fighter class ships that look totally different from each other.
And you can kind of tailor them to your playstyle too. Is like even using a fighter class, you can spec it so that it has a little bit more armor. Or more speed.
That's a spider bot that. If you fly through it, you saw it was red there. It affected your shields negatively. So that's a quick look at EVE Valkyrie. This made me want Oculus, I gotta say. Oh, we're not done yet. I thought we were still... All right, we got a minute and a half. Good. We don't have to end the video, Sean. I like this because we had more to say.
Keep going.
Keep going. So that spider bot thing, that's one of the things that... the ships can drop. It's the support class ship can drop that as its like special weapon. Or if you fly through a green one, that's one that your teammate has dropped, and it'll heal your shields if you fly through it. And then obviously we saw the red one there that harms your shields because it was dropped by an enemy.
Here's another good example of someone keeping their eye.
Yeah, we got another couple minutes, another minute and a half of footage here. But yeah, so there's team deathmatch, there's control mode, which I liked a lot. There are 3 objectives on the map. It's basically your team wants to try and control them, and you drop your drone near it, and then you have to go. So if the other team is controlling, you have to shoot and destroy their drone, and then drop your own drone. And it's sort of a nice tug of war on that.
It's a little bit more flexible because being in space and flying around really quick, it's kind of not really reasonable to expect people to stay in a point to capture it or hold on to it. So you just drop your drone in there instead.
But I started to say when I thought we had to wrap this up, I actually, I've been very interested in Oculus and in VR in general for a while. I wouldn't quite jump to call this a killer app. Playing this and seeing how smooth and fun the experience was. Good, yes. This did make me go, okay, I definitely want to buy the Oculus when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, this is great launch software. Let's be reasonable. Like, I think that,
a year down the road, this is more of a bare bones game like this might not go over quite as well. But as a fun, just quick, accessible launch title,
absolutely. And I mean, it's fun to play, and it's definitely a good demonstration of what is possible with the technology. And I think that's what makes it great launch software.
So this really is the end of the video.
We made
we'll wrap it up.
Look at that, Jaros, 12-1.
That's you, man. Oh God, I was in last in this round. What am I gonna do?
5-3 is not bad.
No, it's over 500. I'll take it. Anyway, for much more on Oculus and EVE Valkyrie, keep it tuned right here to IGN.